Hi, I'm Andy, and I'm preparing to escape suburbia for good. I'm gonna go out west. I just can't take cities anymore, even the suburbs. It's too much. I need space, clean air, less concrete, nature, all of that. So today I wanted to talk about what I want to build on my property in the spring. And I've done a couple AI mock-ups. They're not real photos. They're just AI mock-ups to show what I want to build on my property. I told AI to leave them a little cartoonish because I don't want anybody to mistake them for something real. So these are not real. So this is the first one I did. And they didn't come out perfect. AI just can't do everything. Like the fire pit, it was supposed to be in that center grassy area there, and I don't know where the AI put it, but out there on the corner of the deck, on the deck. And I may not have a deck at all. Most likely I probably won't. It'll be like nice paths in between each building. But yeah, that's what I want to do. And what I've got, the setup here is I've got a sleeping cabin, and then I've got a workshop, the one with the double doors. I've got an outdoor kitchen that's supposed to be half screened with shutters, and the same with the bathhouse. It's supposed to be half screened with shutters. And I'm probably going to build the sleeping cabin one way and the other cabins for these things just probably like post and beam, pole barn style. Because they don't need to be insulated or anything. And what I want to do is put small solar systems on each one. I mean, I've got that 700 watt system that I built for my main cabin. And for the sleeping cabin, that's great because I'll just have a kitchenette and a bed and a desk in there. That'll be my place when it's weather's real bad and I don't want to use the outdoor kitchen. I can still make morning coffee in there. I like that. The other thing, and 700 watts on that building I think will be enough. And I'll have a little kitchenette in there, and that'll be it. And, I can be comfortable like that and entertained also. And then the outdoor kitchen, that'll probably just have like a 100 watt panel and like a 50 amp battery, something like that. Because it's just going to be lights, I think. I'm not going to have like appliances out there. I might have a couple inside the cabin and a little kitchenette, but I doubt I'll have them out there. I just don't see the need. It'll be a place for just cooking, So light, and that's about it. And I'll have shutters on it to close it up if the wind's blowing or the weather's a little off. And if it's real bad, I'll just stay in the cabin, Now the other building will be a workshop. That'll probably have at least a 200 watt panel on it. And I'll probably use my 206 amp hour sock battery to keep tools all the batteries I have and topped off for the tools. I've had a few other things I need to charge. Got a monster of a weed eater that's electric. Thing costs a fortune, but it is a beast. So that battery can charge in there. So that building will need an inverter, a little bit more substantial system. And then what's the last building would be the bathhouse. I mean, maybe I'll put a 100 amp hour battery and a 200 watt panel on that. I don't know if it would even need that. It's got to run the water pump. I don't know if the propane heaters need any like 12 volt power or anything. I'll have to look into it. I know they don't use much. So it'd be a propane water heater, and then maybe a 100 amp hour battery. Just run lights, the water pump for the shower, and then maybe a little fan for the compost toilet, and that's it. And then the way I'm building this is so I can build it out further later. Like when we go to sell this house, then at that point, we can build like 3 more cabins. And what I'd like to do is, I'm not trying to Airbnb or anything. What I'd like to do is just invite people, not everybody, of course, but friends. I'd love to have, if people are just traveling across the country. I mean, if I could get to know you a little bit beforehand, and maybe you're looking at moving off grid, I'd love to have it be one of those kind of places where, maybe somebody I've been talking to a while, so they're vetted, and I know I'm not inviting crazy into my house. So, I'd love to have them come and stay. Maybe they're thinking about doing it. Come stay. I'm not going to provide them with clean sheets. I'm not going to be, I'll probably cook them a couple meals if I can. I'll be sociable, but I'm not a caretaker for them because I'm not renting it. They can just stay in one of the cabins, be comfortable, keep their stuff charged up, do what they want. I'd love to eventually even have a parking lot for like van lifers that are passing through and stuff. I don't know. It'd be a lot because I'd be like vetting people, and I don't know if people would want to come either. I got to build it nice too. And the cool thing about this plan too is a lot of areas you can build 200 square foot buildings where they have a lot of restrictions otherwise, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard that. You can build up to 200 square feet kind of however you want. So this would be a good legal loophole to build out my property too. So, and I don't have to do, a solar system on each building, like for instance, if I find that my 700 watt system with the 600 amp battery bank is more than I need, then I could just have the workshop maybe, or the outdoor kitchen, or the bathhouse or the workshop right next to that building, and just share that power source. But I'll do a little bit of separate systems. But I was looking the other day, you can get I don't want to misquote it, you can get a pretty substantial, well, it's not substantial, you can get a system for, I think it was a 100 or 200 watt panel and a 100 amp or a 50 amp battery. It was like $172 with a little charge controller. I don't think it was MPPT, but they're not that much, But anyway, then I did this one just in case the land I buy doesn't lend itself to that layout. I could also do like row style, and I definitely want a fire pit incorporated somewhere because I'd love for it to become a social place. The last thing I want to do, I don't think I'd be happy just moving to the woods and becoming a hermit. I mean, I'm a little bit of an invert, but I'm still not anti-social, So I would love to build it up nice enough to have friends and family, maybe people I could help out coming through and staying for a while. And they can help out if they want or not. If they want to learn and I'm building a cabin or something and they want to help, that's great. But I'm not going to make it like you got to work while you're there. It's just come and hang out, Now, the way I want to build, that's the first cabin. I want to try something that I've been watching for years, and it's the OffGrid experience. And he does some phenomenal builds. Everything's like beefy and overbuilt. He built a bridge, probably be there 150 years from now. But amazing. And I don't think my finishing work is going to be like his quality or anything. I'm not delusional. But he does this thing, and he was nice enough to let me use a couple video clips to show how he built his cabin. And it's pretty cool because he's putting 2x8s together and just offsetting the center one and then stacking them like logs, and they just fit together nicely, And I think it's genius. I love it. And the insulation might not be the most, but they fit together just like nice logs that just fit in real nice, and they just kind of lock in there. And I like it. I think it's cool as hell. You're going to spend more on 2x8s to do this, of course, and I think a lot of people would think, oh, it'd be too costly. But the thing is, you stack those walls up, and when you're done, you're finished with everything on those walls. The insulation, the exterior, the interior, it's all done, you know. And the insulation isn't the best, but in the high desert of New Mexico or Arizona, you know, it's enough, and you'll insulate your floor and your roof, of course. And, you know, by the time you heat up that 6 inches of wood, I think it'd be fine. And he's talked about that on his channel. And you should really go check it out if you haven't, because he builds some amazing stuff. But I think a little 200 square foot, that style, is something within my wheelhouse of capabilities. And I keep going back to it, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get it out of my head. So I was thinking, all right, so if I do it, you know, where do I want to do it, you know? And really there's no reason to have 6-inch solid walls on any other building except for my sleeping cabin. So, and that'll be the first building I build. So I'm excited to build this way. I think it's very cool how he did it. And you have all that material from his videos to guide me through it. So I'm going to link his channel in the description, and I hope y'all go check it out. But yeah, so that'll be the main sleeping cabin, and then this kind of style that's how I want to set up my property. I think it's perfect. And the smaller buildings for off-grid, I think, are more ideal because, you know, when you think about heating and cooling and just overall power needs on a 200 square foot building, so you're not wasting power on other spaces that you're not using at that time, with specific uses that you don't need power for when you're not using them. I think that's an ideal setup there and getting started. Probably when I go out in the spring, I'm going to be kind of tapped out. I'll have my cabin fund, but I'm going to put up one 200 square foot cabin next summer on the property, and that might be it for next summer. And then the following summer, I should be able to, since I have nothing else to really get, I'm sure there'll be a few things that'll come up, but, you know, I'll have all those things in place. So by the next following year, I should be able to build the rest of the buildings. And then probably within a year from there, we'll be selling this house, and we have quite a bit of equity in it. So that's when I plan to pay off the property, because I'll finance it first, and build some guest cabins. So yeah, I'm excited. This is the stuff I want to talk about. I don't know if it's interesting to other people, but it sure motivates me. Anyway, if you watch this, I really appreciate it. God bless. Take care.